And the social worker took me to my first foster home in King County. I'm not going to say too much about it other than the fact that it was safe. I felt safe. I didn't feel like something bad was going to happen. But the one thing that I would say to each of you working in the system, living in the system, having children in your homes, is make them feel comforted. And it might not be, they might not need the way that you're doing it, so try to adjust. But be there. You see, I didn't get that in my first foster home, and it's not a big deal. But I remember going into this room with 3 mattresses side by side on the floor with barely room to walk around them, and 2 other boys that I'm sharing this room with. And no one-on-one time with anyone who's feeding into my life. Nothing on the walls. It wasn't comfortable. And I remember during that time, my bio mom came to visit. And I was here, it was kind of like a respite home there. I'm like for 30 days, right? And about halfway through, my mom, I see her, she's in this white Ford Thunderbird. She drives up, and I'm out in the neighborhood playing in the wooded area next to the house. And I see her pull up, and I'm so excited. And just the same as when I saw my dad, I ran, I stopped. I'm gonna surprise her. So she parked and got out of the Ford Thunderbird and started walking up to that foster house. And right when she got to the steps, I ran out and I surprised her and I yelled and I went to give her a hug. And then she looked at me, she said, "You're just like her, aren't you? You're just like your sister doing drugs." I was 9. I didn't know what drugs was. But she had her own things going on that she couldn't figure out at that time. And she, instead of receiving guidance for her issues, she received labels and mental health diagnoses for her erratic emotional outbursts after dealing with an intense divorce without coping skills. So she was placed on a bunch of psychiatric medications, and that was a moment when I knew my mom was no longer the same mom that I had known before. I went to a second foster home, and this woman had salt and pepper hair. She was really tall. She told me she was a friend of my mom's, but I didn't believe her. I found out last year that she was. My mom told me. But she was very kind. She created a presence for me. She was there. She just sat with me. She didn't pry at me. She just understood and sometimes would put her hand on my shoulder. You want to know one of the biggest things that she did for me? Huh? Yes. She gave me a koala bear. And this koala bear gave me the opportunity to cuddle. I didn't have my normal bed with my stuffed animal that my aunt that I met one time had given me. And I still have that koala bear in my basement where I rap today. The power of the little things is immense. Never forget that.